could describe it as New Age or even as progressive New Age, but I think that would even limit it. I think what we've done is we've blended so many different kinds of music to create 2002. Our classical background, our rock backgrounds, our pop music backgrounds, everything that we've done sort of comes to the table. It was actually a sequel to Celtic Fairy Lullaby. We had had such good success with it, so many streams and people listening to it, that we decided to make another one, hopefully embellishing on the same thing that we had started with. The approach that we took to recording Celtic Fairy Dream, which is that we recorded it essentially backwards. Normally in modern album production, you put the music down first and maybe even overdub a lot of the music and the tracks, and then the lead vocal is something that goes down at the very end. Well, the way that we did it was the opposite of that. We started, in most cases, with the lead vocal from Sarah, and we were able to take those tracks and then build the 2002 music scene around that. Essentially, we have the vocal first, and then we have the whole sort of symphony come in and accompany it after the fact. And I think that lends a certain magic to the way that we recorded the tracks and to Celtic Fairy Dream. The more stressful times become, the more we need relaxing music, to take us away from some of that stress. And it really does help. When we first did Celtic Fairy Lullaby, I was surprised at how many people were using it for sleep and for relaxation in general, but especially for sleeping at night. I never would have thought of that myself. Sleep is so important, especially during stressful times. If our music can help with that, well, then we've definitely done something good there.
Well, on the CD, it's definitely more slow music, and then live I usually do faster paced things. It's more interesting for a crowd of people, live to listen to something that's more different kinds of music within that instead of just slower Celtic music. And I play a lot more instruments live too, and then on the album I do more of just the harp, mostly. When I went to Ireland, I learned a lot about just how to play traditional music, and I learned a lot of traditional songs that I now use when I play live, and that I have brought over to the album too. Well, with a song like Glenton Glusquidor, for example, I think I originally learned that before I went to Ireland, and then I learned more of how to, more of the correct pronunciations and more ways to play it in Ireland, and I brought a lot of those ideas into the song that I put on the album.
Well, sometimes people ask, how does this kid from Texas know so much about Irish music? And she has spent half of her life studying. Sarah joined the North Texas School of Irish Music when she was only 8 years old. She studied Celtic harp, she studied fiddle there, and she worked with Karen Ballou, who's an amazing vocal coach. Karen taught Sarah songs in Irish, Scottish, Welsh, and a lot of other languages. For many years they worked together. And over the last 8 years or so, Sarah has been performing a lot, hundreds of performances with groups, Irish groups around town. She's performed solo, and she's got a lot of experience with this, and she brings that into this album. The great thing about being a family is we're together all the time, so whenever inspiration strikes one of us, it's pretty easy to get everybody together and get the job done pretty quickly. And I think that we share a lot of ideas around meals and just in the car and just places where we just happen to be together as a family. We get a lot of inspiration from each other that way. It's a natural progression of that over the years as Sarah becomes more and more involved with each album. She participates more and more, and it's been really great.
The next one that we want to do, we're already working on, and that's looking like it's going to be a vocal pop record, or at least pop sensibilities. I'm thinking probably after that, we've been discussing it, and we're thinking that we may revisit our roots a little bit and go back to some really quiet instrumental music.